Hi, Tom here. In this week's Circle Line Art School video, I'll show you one way to draw buildings and people using one-point perspective. The first step in perspective is to draw a horizontal line, and for one-point perspective we just need to draw one mark on the horizon for our vanishing point. In this drawing it needs to be towards the left. From our vanishing point on the left, we can draw a diagonal line to the left of the page and then draw a series of people. Each head of a person is on the horizon line and each of their feet touch the diagonal line. We can just sketch the people in because they are small and getting smaller as they go towards the vanishing point. We can draw another diagonal line on the right and have another line of people in perspective in this one-point perspective drawing. To make this drawing more straightforward, all the people are the same height as each other and they're all standing in a line, and these lines are parallel and both lines are going to our one point in our one-point perspective. As all the people are quite far away from us, we don't need any details. We don't need many details. The horizon line is the line that shows where the height of the viewer of the image is, where their eye line is, the height of their eye. Now, I think we could add some light source coming from the right, so each person can have a cast shadow going away to the left, away from the light source. We could add two more lines, so all the figures, all the people look like they're on paths, and again these lines need to go to our vanishing point. Next, on the left, we can draw a vertical line for the side corner of a building. Now we can use our vanishing point to draw a series of diagonal lines to the left of this vertical line, and then from this we can draw the windows and the architectural details of this old building. When we draw vertical lines on this old building, we need them to get closer as they go towards the vanishing point. Modern buildings tend not to have lots of details on them, but older buildings do. So we can divide this space with vertical lines and diagonal lines, and then once we have this sort of grid in perspective going towards the vanishing point on the side of this building, then we can indicate some of the variety of details that we can add to the building. Next we can draw St. Mark's Basilica. Start by drawing a long, thin rectangle to the right of the vanishing point. Then we can find the halfway point in this rectangle and draw a vertical line at the halfway point. Now we need to add an arch, just a semicircle in the middle, that's slightly higher. Next we can divide the rectangle with some vertical lines, as we're going to need to sort of position or place two more arches either side of the large arch in the middle, which we have in the centre. There are also a thinner arch at each end of the rectangle as well. The baseline of the basilica, the bottom line of the rectangle, needs to be slightly lower than our horizon line. Once we have the arches in place so that they look okay, we can make the lines a bit darker and add some small details. Next we can extend the building upwards by extending vertical lines from each of the arches that we've already drawn. Then we can draw another series of arches above the first series of arches. Oftentimes we can just draw some guidelines to line everything up. So to get these second row of arches in line so that they're all level, I just need to draw a few horizontal guidelines so that I can see where they line up. For the second series of arches, we need a double line for each of the arches first, and then we can sort of make them go to a point. So each of the arches on the outside double line then goes to a point at the top centre. We can now draw the domes on the basilica at the top. There's one large dome in the middle, and then a smaller dome, a slightly smaller dome on either side. We can sketch in a few more details too. Now, on the left, between the building we first drew and the basilica, in this space we can draw another building using horizontal and vertical lines, with small square windows on the top floor and rectangular windows below in vertical lines. Once you have that drawn, we can draw the base of the bell tower on the right. This is a monumental building that will give a drama to our image, but for now we just need some vertical lines for it. To the right of the bell tower is the Doge's palace, but we can just see a bit of it. A small circular window at the top, part of an arched window, and some more arches on the ground level. It's useful to put this in because it gives scale to other parts of the drawing. We can add some vertical lines to the bell tower. Next, we can start to add some tonal values to the drawing. The light is on the right so that we can tone in the domes on the left-hand side. Some of the background buildings can just be a darker tone, a darker shade, a darker tonal value. We can shade the inside of the arches of the basilica too. Now we can draw a diagonal for a shadow on the left and shade in half the building with a flat tone. This gives a dramatic sort of quality of light shining through. We can repeat this sort of diagonal shadow at the base of the bell tower again with a flat tone. Next we can add a line of clouds in the sky, and then just softly shade in the sky and the left-hand parts of the clouds with a soft edge, with the edge of a pencil. Next we could draw some more perspective lines from our vanishing point coming towards us to mark out some of the shapes on the flat surface of St. Mark's Square. Now I want to draw some reflections in the square, as if it's wet, as if it's been raining perhaps. So to do that we need to draw a few curvy lines first across the surface of the square. Next we can draw a mirror image of the arches that we drew earlier on, reflected in the square, but not in the curvy lines that we just drew. We could add some small marks for pigeons on the ground, just an indication, no need for any detail. The last step in this one-point perspective drawing of St. Mark's Square is to add some soft tone into the reflections. For this, just use the side of the pencil. For this drawing I'm using a 4B pencil. And then we can also use the side of an eraser to smudge the pencil marks. I hope you found this drawing useful for your own drawings. Please visit my website circlelineartschool.com to learn more. I post a new video every week. Thank you for watching and see you next time.